Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Ubaid Khan and today I'm going to talk about flowcharts and C++ programming language. This is the lecture 2 of our course. First of all, what is a flowchart? A flowchart is a graphical representation of a process, system or algorithm. It uses symbols, shapes and arrows to illustrate the steps, decisions and flow of a process in a clear and visual way. Flowcharts are commonly used in various fields such as programming, business, engineering, and education to document, analyze, design, or improve workflows. Then we have uses of flowcharts. Visualizing processes helps in understanding complex processes by breaking them into smaller steps. For example, if we want to make a program about a table of a number, we can get into a few problems. What a flowchart will do is break those problems into a few smaller parts, like showing us the loop, the input process, the output process, etc. Then we have problem solving, identifies bottlenecks or inefficiencies in a system. Documentation provides a clear and standardized way to document workflows. Communication makes it easier to explain processes to others. Planning assists in designing new systems or algorithms. Then we have symbols of flowcharts. First of all, we have the oval symbol, which represents a start or end point of a flowchart. Whenever you will see a flowchart, you will always see this oval symbol at the start and the end of the flowchart, showing the start and the end of the flowchart. Then we have the arrows, also called a line, which shows the connection or the relationship between these shapes that represent these functions. Then we have the parallelogram, which shows the input and the output of the flowchart. Then we have the rectangle shape, which represents a process. It can have addition of two numbers, subtraction of two numbers, etc. Then we have the diamond. It indicates the decisions in the flowchart. It can have if statements, the cases, etc. Then we have an example of a flowchart. We can see that this flowchart is very simple. It starts, it shows the output of hello world, and then it ends. So now we are going to go into the compiler and make a code that prints out hello world. So here we are in our compiler, and now we are going to write the code about hello world. So here the so here the hashtag include is the header file, and the IO stream is a library which has the input output functions stored in it. This using name std, it shows the standardized function of the library. This int main is the main function. The program starts executing from this function. Here cout is the statement that gives or shows our output, and we have these two angle brackets. This is the syntax of C++, how it is always used. Then we have this hello world in these double quotations. Whenever you want to print something out exactly as you write it, you always use these quotations. And then we have the statement terminator or the semicolon at the end. And this is just a statement that returns the value to 0 and shows the output. So now let's run the program. So here we can see that it says hello world in the output, so this program works. Here we have another example of flowchart. It is a very simple flowchart. It takes two inputs from users A and B, then it shows the process in the rectangle. It sums those two numbers, saves those numbers in the sum variable, and then it prints out the sum variable, and then it ends. Now let's go to the compiler and make this program. So here we are in our compiler. Now let's make that program. So here we can see that I declared these three variables using the int data type. So here we can see that I printed out into two numbers, and then through cin I am taking two inputs from users. Cin is the statement used for taking inputs. Here I'm going to add those two numbers and then storing that number into sum. Here we can see that I am printing out sum of two numbers is exactly, and then by again putting these angled brackets and then writing this variable, uh, I can print out the number that will be stored in the sum variable. Now let's run this program. Here I'm going to add 2, and then I'm going to add 4, and let's see. And as we can see that it is showing the correct answer 6. So this program works. Now here we have another example of a flowchart. Uh, in this flowchart, it is asking the user to write an integer. It is reading that integer. It is taking the mod of that integer with 2, and then it is making it equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, then the number will be even. If it's not equal to 0, then the number will be odd, and it will print out even or odd. Now let's go into the compiler and make this program. So here I am in the compiler, and now I'm going to make that program. So I'm going to take one variable. I'm taking a as a variable, and now I'm going to ask the user to give me an input. Here it will print out, enter any number, and the user will enter any number in the a variable. Now using this if statement, I will see if the number will be even or odd. Now this is the statement or expression that will be used. A mod 2 is double equal to 0. Here if it comes out equal to 0, it will print out the number is even. If not, it will print out number is odd. Now let's see. I'm going to input 4. It printed out even. Now again let's run the program. giving the input 5. Now let's see. And it's saying the number is odd. So the program works. So this is the example 4 of a flowchart. What it's doing is it's asking the user to input the radius of a circle, then it's calculating the area of the circle, and then it is displaying the area of the circle. Let's move into our IDE and make this program. Here we are inside our compiler again. Let's start. Here I'm going to declare the variable r for the radius. I'm going to ask the user to input the radius of the circle. To the cn statement, the user will input a number that will be the radius of the circle. Now here I will again initialize a variable named area, and I will store the area of the circle inside it. I will take 3.14 as a constant because it is the value of pi and we cannot change the value of pi. We will multiply r 2 times with this, and now the area of the circle will be stored in the variable area. Now we will see out the or now we will see out or print the area of the circle. So here now it is going to print out the area of the circle. Let's run the program. So now I'm going to give radius of the circle, and here we can see that it is showing us the area of the circle. Now it might have a decimal point value, but it is not showing the decimal points. The reason being that we are using the integer data type, and in the integer data type it does not pick any of the decimal values. For the decimal values we have to use float. Now using this float data type, it is going to give us the value in decimal if it was in decimal. Let's see. As you can see that now it is showing 2 decimal points after the decimal. This is the correct value and the program works. Now example 5 of flowchart. Here it is asking the user to input two numbers a1 and b1. It is putting a condition on it. If a1 is smaller than b1, then it goes to the true side, and a1 is stored in t and it prints out t, and if not, uh, b1 is stored in t and it prints out t. Now let's make this program. Here I am inside the IDE, and now let's make the program. I'm going to declare two variables a1 and b1 respectively. I'm also going to declare the variable t here. Now I'm going to ask the user to input the values of b1 and a1. Here the user will input two values which will be stored in a1 and b1. I'm going to put a condition if on it, and we will see if a1 is bigger or not. Here if a1 will be smaller than b1, then it will store the value of a1 in t. We will also have to use curly brackets here. Here I am using the if condition, and if a1 is smaller than b1, then the value of a1 will be stored in t1 and it will print out the value of t. If not, the value of b1 will be stored in t and will print out the value of b1. Let's run this program. I'm going to input 6 and 9 and we can see that it outputted 6, meaning it is going towards the true statement. Now let's run it again and make the statement false. And as we can see, it printed out 5. Here we have example 6 of flowchart. In this example, it is asking the user to input the value of n, and then it is making a for loop, and in this loop it is going to find out the factorial of the number. Now let's go into the IDE and make this program. So here I am inside the IDE, and now let's make that program. So we are going to take two variables, naming number and factorial, and we are also going to assign it the value 1. Now we are going to ask the user to input the number. Here the user is going to enter the number for factorial. Now using for loop I will find out the factorial. Now I will print out the factorial. Now let's see if the program works. Here we will input 6 and we can see that the factorial of 6 is 720 and the program works. So here we have another example of flowchart. In this flowchart we are asking for an input n, and depending on that input n we are going to make the iterations in the for loop. So let's make this program. Here we are inside our IDE. Now let's make this program. We are going to declare the variable n. Now we are going to ask for the number n. Now we are going to make the loop. As you can see that it printed the numbers till 9. One more thing that we can do here is that instead of printing out numbers, we can put a statement in here and print out that statement the number of times. For example, I put out hello world. Now, depending on the number of iterations, it will print out hello world. As you can see, it printed out hello world 5 times, but there is a problem that it is printing out hello world in the same line. So we can put an end line statement here. Now it is going to print the hello world in different lines. As you can see, it printed out hello world 5 times in different lines. So the program works. Here we have another flowchart. In this flowchart, it is asking for the input of marks from users, and then it is going to take the average of those marks and see if the student passes or fails. Let's make this program. So here I am inside the IDE, and now let's make that program. I am going to declare marks of I'm going to declare 4 variables to get the marks, and now I'm going to take another variable grade. Now I'm going to ask for the marks of students. चुप कर से Here we are going to take 4 marks. After that, we are going to save their average in the variable grade. Now we are going to use the if statement to make the condition of pass or not. Now if the grades are equal to or greater than 50, it will print out pass. If not, it will print out fail. We will add 40, 60, 90 and 80 and see it is saying pass. Now let's do the other one. We'll do 29, 50, 30 and 13, and as we can see it is saying fail. So the program works. Here we have another example of a flowchart, and in this flowchart we are going to ask for a number n, and then we are going to apply the condition. If n is greater than 0, then it is going to print out number is positive. If not, it is going to go to another condition. Here we are going to use nested if, and depending on that condition it is going to print the number is 0 or the number is negative. So let's go into the IDE and make this program. So now I'm here inside the IDE and let's make that program. So now we are going to declare n. We are going to ask for an input. Using this if, we will make the condition n is greater than 0. It is going to print out number is positive. Else if n is less than 0, it will print out number is negative. Else it will print out number is 0. Let's run this program. I will put 6, and as you can see the number is positive. Let's run it again. I will put in -6. It is saying number is negative. Now let's put in 0, and as you can see it says number is 0. So the program works. So here we have the last example of the flowchart. As you can see, it is a fully made calculator using the switch condition, and now we are going to make this calculator in the program. So let's go and make this program. So here I am inside the IDE, and now we are going to declare two variables named AB and a character named X. The reason why we are declaring a character is we are going to store the symbols inside of it and ask the user to press the symbols and take the calculations. We are going to ask the users to input two numbers for the calculations. Now we are going to ask the users what operation they want to perform. Here we should also clarify which operations they should perform: positive, negative, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, and mod. After getting the operation, I will use the statement switch. Now in the switch statement we will put cases: case addition, it will print out sum of numbers a plus b, and an n line so it doesn't print on the same line, and then we will use a break. Now I will copy this case and just paste it and change the case. Difference, multiplication, division, and then mod. And now we will make a default case, which will just print out exiting. Now let's run the calculator. Here we will put in 2 and 4, and now let's give it an operation like the addition. Here we can see that it gave the sum. Now let's do the division for 2, and here we go, it divided. Now let's do the mod for 2 and the mod here. So the program works. So everyone, thanks for watching the video. This was the video. In this video, I talked about flowcharts, the C++ programming language. I showed codes, I showed flowcharts, and hopefully it helped you all, and I'll see you next time.